Interpol in this moon. I'll be taking care of the debate and will be guiding you on anything you need. Today, you'll be debating the topic of Interpol follow-up to initiatives that promote the capture of fugitives on an international scale. We are very pleased to have you here, and we hope you have the best of the times. Be the change that you wish you see in the world. Mahatma Gandhi. Thanks, delegates. I yield the word to your conference officer.
Hello, delegates. I hope you are doing well. It's a pleasure to be today with you. My name is Elena Cetina, and I will be your conference officer. I hope you have a great experience and you develop in a successful way in which you have a great debate and a successful resolution. I yield the word to your moderator.
Thank you. Hello, delegates. I hope you're doing very good. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. My name is Clarissa Delgadillo, and I will be your moderator. I will be in charge of the flow of the debate and making sure that it is always within a respectful environment. I am here for you, and I wish you complete success. I yield the word to your president.
Thank you. Well, delegates, be now 8:15. I inaugurate the first session of this Moon 2021. And by being online, we hope you can turn on your cameras so we can see you and have like a better communication. Thank you. I yield the word to your conference officer.
Delegates, now we will proceed with the roll call. I remember you and member countries, say present and voting. Pakistan.
Present and voting.
Bulgaria. Bulgaria. Jordan. Jordan. United States.
Present and voting.
Spain.
Present and voting.
Netherlands. Netherlands. Germany. Germany. Russia. Russia. UK.
Present and voting.
Madagascar. Madagascar. France.
Present and voting.
Argentina. Argentina. Brazil. Brazil. Canada. Canada. RDC. RDC. Iran.
Present and voting.
Colombia. Colombia. Sweden. Sweden. And Mexico. Mexico. Delegates, I yield the word to your president.
Thank you. Well, as we have quorum, we have the first session inaugurated. Thanks. I yield the word to your moderator.
Thank you, President. Before we start, Jimena Perez, why do you have your hand raised?
Yeah, because I don't understand something because you didn't say my organization
What is your organization?
is Spain Civil War.
Okay, will you give me 2 seconds and I yield the word to your conference moderator.
I said Spain, and you answer. I have it here in the paper.
My classmate answer
I didn't.
yes because I don't know if I'm wrong, but I hear Spain and one person answer.
Well, you are here, so can I put you in the list? Present and voting.
I said present and voting. Present and
Yes.
voting.
Thank you, delegate. I give the word to your moderator.
Thank you. Well, delegates, we remind you that being an only topic, follow up to initiatives that promote the capture of fugitives on an international scale. The only motion in order would be a motion of procedure to establish the speakers list. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, delegate of Jimena Perez.
My delegation makes a motion to set up the speakers list
You are in order, delegate, with what duration?
as much as the chair recommends.
The chair recommends that 1 minute would be okay. Delegate, could you please remind me your country?
Civil Spain Civil War.
Thank you. Delegate who seconds the motion? Delegate of Andrea Sofia seconds the motion. The chair reestablishes. Vote in favor? Against? Delegates, the motion clearly passes. Delegate of Spain, you have the first intervention.
The Spanish Civil War emerged in 1844. At the time, it was dedicated to the security of the countryside and to maintaining order among society. Currently, it is dedicated to public safety, preventing the trafficking of drugs, weapons, or illegal objects. The Civil War has been worked with Interpol and other criminal associations since the beginning of INFRA in 2009, an operation that is dedicated to locating and detaining fugitives around the world. INFRA operations are repeated every year, each time, with a different purpose. Some in which the Spanish Civil War has been participated are Infra Hydra in 2016. Its main objective was to locate and catch 180 international fugitives wanted for the crime of trafficking people, of which the majority were arrested. Infraterra in 2014 fought to catch and imprison 103 fugitives on an international scale for crimes against the environment such as wildlife trafficking, illegal logging and fishing, and
Thank
trafficking.
you, delegate. Your time is up. Thank you, delegate. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, delegate of Andres.
My delegation makes a motion to the delegate to finish their position to the delegation of Jimena.
You are not an order delegate, given the fact that the time that was already established and all of you voted for is already up for that delegate.
Okay.
Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, delegate of Germany.
Motion of personal privilege.
Establish.
Mm, my meeting was bugged and I didn't get the chance to say present and voting. I tried raising my hand and it didn't work, so I just want to establish that you read my message.
Yes, we did. Thank you, delegate.
Thank you.
Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Andrea Sofia. You have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The delegation of the United States of America is aware of the importance of the Interpol around the world and thinks that it's very important for each delegation to know how it exactly works. Interpol shares data of crimes and criminals, but also they offer a range of technical and operational support. There are three types of programs, and the United States of America think it's important for every delegation to be aware of it and think how we can improve the capture of fugitives at an international level. Thank you. I give my time to the chair.
Thank you, delegate. The delegate yielded 26 seconds of her time to the chair. Delegates, we remind you that the speakers list cannot be empty. Does any delegate want to be added to the speakers list? Please raise your hand. Delegate of Pamela. Delegate of Andres. Delegate of Vanessa. Delegate of Laura. Thank you, delegates. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, delegate of Jimena Parra.
A motion of personal privilege to raise to. I'm sorry, my meeting is really bugged, so I think everything is logged to be added to the speakers list. Please.
You are in order, delegate. Don't worry about it. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, delegate of Vanessa.
Points of personal privilege.
Establish.
Can the delegation of United States repeat their proposals, please?
You are in order, delegate. Delegate of Andrea Sofia, could you please repeat your proposals briefly?
It's not actually a proposal yet, but I'm just talking about the importance of Interpol in every nation and in every delegation, and that we have to make that we'll have to be aware of the importance of Interpol, and also we have to find a way to capture the fugitives at the international level.
Thank you, delegate. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Pamela. You have the floor.
Thank you. And the operation, which consists on search and arrest fugitives on an international scale, brings together official responsibilities of law enforcement through the world with the purpose of locating and arresting criminals who have failed their national jurisdiction. This operation was organized by Interpol and focused on cases related to fugitives accused of having committed serious crimes, such as murder, sexual abuse of minors, human trafficking, fraud, corruption, drug smuggling, crimes against the environment, and money laundering capitals. In this sense, the principal team worked on international cooperation that underpins the concept of this operation contributed greatly to its success since the beginning of INFRA in 2009. Its annual operation has resulted in the location from an arrest of 1,000 positive in each operation. Help is requested for the civilian population so that without putting their safety at risk, they share information about the wanted person. For its part, the Support Unit's investigation of fugitives is carrying out a new project financed by the European Union. Interpol support from the PAC program of against the transitional crime organized by the rule of law and citizen security. The objective of this project is to establish a permanent mechanism to strengthen the police capacity of 6 Latin American countries: Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Panama, and Peru.
Thank you,
In order
delegate. I'm so sorry, but your time is up. Delegates, please be more aware of your time. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Andres. You have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Sweden is a Northern European country that is part of the European Union. The country has an area of 450,095 kilometers. It's bordered to the north by Norway and Finland, to the east Finland and Gulf of Bothnia, the south of Baltic Sea, and the west by the North Sea, Norway, Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. It's the fifth largest country in Europe. The language they speak is in the country Swedish, the Polismyndigheten. It's a group of government agencies in charge of the security in Sweden. In many countries, there are cases in which there are people who are escaping from the police and the law cannot find them or for different reasons, and Sweden is not the exception. It's a danger that escaped people are outside the jail. That is why I propose the following. Patrol the streets more often. Question suspicious people. When they enter to leave the country, check if they have something suspicious with them. Thanks.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yeah, yes, Delegate Vanessa.
Point of information?
Delegate, do you mean point of personal inquiry?
To ask a question, right?
Excuse me, what?
To ask a question to the delegation of Andres, right?
Oh, do you mean a motion of procedure to establish an extraordinary session of 2 questions to the last delegate?
Yeah.
Do you wish to establish?
My delegation makes a motion to open an extra session with 2 questions for the previous delegate.
You're in order, Delegate. Delegate, who seconds the motion? Delegate of Jimena, 1 moment, please. Delegate of Andres, do you accept? Vote in favor? Against? Abstentions? The motion clearly passes. Delegate Vanessa, you have the floor. Please be brief.
Thank you. With which money is the delegation going to patrol the streets more often?
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate Andres, your response?
Okay. We are going to patrol more the streets when more with point of personal privilege.
Establish?
How can I say reclutar?
Recruit.
Thanks. Recruit more police.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Jimena Perez, your second question.
If it is in order, I want to hear the proposals of the delegation of Andres.
You are not in order, Delegate, because that is not a question. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Andrea.
Points of personal privilege.
Establish.
Can the delegation of Andres repeat her proposals, please?
Delegation of Andres, right? Delegate of Andres, could you briefly please repeat your proposals?
Yes. My delegation proposals are patrol the streets more often, question suspicious people. When they enter and leave the country, check if they have something suspicious with them. Thanks.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Vanessa. You have the floor.
Thank you. The National Crime Agency's object is to cut and stop serious and organized crime, and to protect all the people from any type of violence by targeting and pursuing all people who are considered as a risk to the UK society. The officers of the NCA are all trained and capable and of course willing to help all our country. And worldwide security is a very important topic, so we should all worry about it. Our job as a committee is to protect all people in the world. In order to do that, my delegation's proposals are to add more security in the frontier so we make sure that no fugitives escape the country, to work with the Security Council in order to be able to have better security in the streets and in the prisons, and to spread messages to the citizens, encouraging them to report any crime they see so there is not any unsolved crimes. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. What would you like to do with your time?
Give it to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. The Delegate yielded 15 seconds of her time to the Chair. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Andrea.
Point of personal privilege.
Establish.
Can the delegation of Vanessa repeat her proposal, please?
Yes, Delegate. Delegate of Vanessa, could you please briefly repeat your proposals?
Yes. To add more security in the frontier so we make sure that no fugitives escape the country, to work with the Security Council in order to be able to have better security in the streets and in the prisons, and to spread messages to the citizens, encouraging them to report any crime they see so there is not any unsolved crimes.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Andres.
My delegation makes a motion to put extra two questions.
Delegate, do you mean a motion of procedure to establish an extraordinary session of two questions?
Yes.
Do you wish to reestablish?
My delegation makes a motion to add a extraordinary session of two questions.
You are in order, Delegate. Delegate, who seconds the motion? Sorry, Delegate, given the fact that your motion is not seconded, it does not pass. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Laura. You have the floor.
Thank you. Cooperation between Interpol and the UN has since been embodied in resolutions of the General Assembly and the United Nations Security Council, especially in relation to terrorism and human trafficking. We also pool our expertise to develop special notifications on individuals and entities subject to United Nations Security Council. Sanctions, a powerful tool for bringing criminals to justice. My delegation proposals are to carry out more operations focused on a specific crime, make more intelligent strategies, and have help in other countries to find the fugitives. Organize a plan and use tools to capture the 7 most dangerous fugitives. Have contact with international organizations or countries to be able to capture the fugitive faster. Create and develop more projects on fugitive search mechanisms around the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Vanessa.
Point of personal privilege.
Establish.
Can the delegation of Laura repeat their proposals, please?
No, we are going to deny this to have a more successful flow of the debate. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Jimena Perez. You have the floor.
Point of personal privilege.
Establish.
What am I supposed to do?
What do you mean?
Because I already participate.
Well, yes, but when me as a moderator asked that the speakers list cannot be empty, you raised your hand to be added to the speakers list. It is your turn. You give your point, your proposals, your posture, whatever you'd like to say. You have 1 minute.
Well, my proposals are to add more bodies of the Spanish Civil War at borders, airports, bus stations, roads, among others, that are especially dedicated to this type of operations to facilitate captures. My second proposal is inform the international population about the fugitives so that they can help us identify it, thanks to the fact that they can miss sightings at either banks. Sorry, um, wait. Sorry. Thanks to the fact that there may be sightings even in banks, stores, etc., and to be able to locate them and act more quickly. 3. Educate the little ones from the home so that they can obtain values and in the future be able to reduce crime, drug trafficking, or any criminal act, since they will be able to differentiate or know what is right or what is wrong.
Thank you, delegate. Delegates, we remind you that the speakers list cannot be empty. Does any delegate want to be added to the speakers list? Please raise your hand. Delegate of Andrea Sofia. Delegate of Jimena Parra. The chair will also add in secrecy. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with, yes, Delegate of Vanessa.
Thank you. A motion of procedure to establish an extraordinary session of 2 questions.
You are in order, Delegate. 1 moment, please. Delegate who seconds the motion. Delegate, your motion does not pass because nobody seconded your motion. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Andrea Sofia. You have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Crime pervades every aspect of our lives, wherever we live. It threatens our societies, our economies, and our communities. Terrorism, cybercrime, organized crime, crime who knows has no limits or frontiers. I want to make clear a point that the fact that in 2017, Interpol's total operating revenue was 124 million euros, of which 45 million euros came from the statutory contributions. So while these contributions are Interpol's single largest revenue stream, the comprise only is 43% of million euros. That is almost exactly 4 million euros more than Japan. The next biggest contributor is 8.5 million euros more than China, the largest non-democratic contributor. I just want to make clear that the Interpol is not a large, even though it might sound like it's a big one, it's not big, such as UN. So the delegation of the United States would highly recommend to get more funds for this organization. Thank you. I give my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. The delegate yielded 0 seconds of her time to the chair. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Jimena. The chair reestablishes. Yes, Delegate of Pamela.
Point of personal privilege.
Establish.
How do I say el punto de comentario?
That would be a motion of procedure to make a comment.
Can I establish?
Yes, reestablish.
Motion of procedure to make a comment.
You are in order, delegate. Please be brief.
Well, my delegation agrees with the delegation of what was Andrea Sofia.
Thank you, delegate. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Jimena Parra. You have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The infrared program works yearly, each with a different approach. Despite that, there are still 7,624 fugitives. With the COVID-19 pandemic, these numbers have risen. Criminals have taken advantage of the situation and have working with innovation snapshots as Interpol has established in January of 2021. Um, there are some measures we can take advantage of with the countries that have more fugitives and supporting proposals such as the one of the United States. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, delegate. The delegate yielded 7 seconds of her time to the chair. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Andrea Reyes. You have the floor.
Points of personal privilege.
Establish.
It's supposed that I say my position paper, yes.
Could you please speak more louder? I didn't hear you.
It's supposed that I say my position paper, yes.
Yes and no. You are supposed to say your posture, your country's posture, your proposals, if you are against or in favor of all of the postures that the other delegates have stated.
Okay. Um, Most organized crime offenses in France are committed by national criminal organizations operating from Lille, Paris, Lyon, Grenoble, Marseille, and the island of Corsica. As they increasingly join France's criminal intensity, this network turning is increasingly towards drugs trafficking and its associated crimes, particularly financial crime. In France, the national police and Germany are responsible for protecting people and property against the threat of crime, including organized crime, drugs trafficking, terrorism, illegal immigration, and cybercrime. My proposals are more secure transportation and transfer of prisoners, improved fugitive tracking, advanced technology, better choose forensic investigations. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. The delegate yielded 0 seconds of her time to the chair. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, delegate of Andrea Sofia.
Motion of personal privilege to be added to the
Establish. You are an order, delegate. Does any other delegate want to be added to the speakers list? Raise your hand. Since not, we will. The chair reestablishes. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Pamela. You have the floor.
Thank you, Cheryl. Well, my delegation, as what was I going to say? Yeah, my delegation asked help for the citizens to give information of the to the office to the police. I don't know how to say that, how to explain it. Give information if they have to help us to find the fugitives. I give the rest of the time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. The Delegate yielded 35 seconds of her time to the Chair. Delegates, we remind you to please stick with the established language, this being English. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Andres. You have the floor.
Thanks. Some proposals that I think my delegation thinks it's put more security in airports and uh, to the to the persons on escape, and in the jails put more security in all in with the transport and in the jail. Thanks.
Thank you, Delegate. What would you like to do with your time?
Give it to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. The Delegate yielded 33 seconds of his time to the Chair. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Jimena Parra.
Motion of procedure. A motion of procedure.
Establish.
To make an extraordinary round of 2 questions to the former delegate.
Delegate, do you mean to make an extraordinary session of 2 questions?
Yes.
You are an order delegate. Do you wish to reestablish?
Yes, to make an extraordinary session of 2 questions.
Yes, Delegate. Delegate who seconds the motion? Delegate of Andres Sofia seconds the motion. Delegate of Andres, do you accept?
Yes, I accept.
Thank you, Delegate. Votes in favor? Against? Abstentions? The motion clearly passes. Delegate of Jimena Parra, you have the floor. Please be brief.
What has your delegation done for transporting and Yale? Could you please be more specific in that matter?
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Andres, your response?
Okay, thanks. Yes, to put to the point of personal privilege.
Establish?
How can I say escolta?
Escort?
Thanks. To put more escorts in the transportation to the jail with more police to be more security.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Andres Sofia, the second question.
So you're saying that, well, you want to put more security on your jails, but I think the delegation of the United States, I reestablished, thinks that that it would be more important to put more police officers on the frontiers, not in the jails. So what do you think?
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Andres, your response?
Okay, thanks. Yes, it can be, but some of the prisoners can escape with the facility on airports. Yes, it's more. Yes, we need to put security in frontiers, but I think some of the prisoners can escape in airports. So that's why I say that proposals.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Jimena Perez.
Point of personal inquiry.
Establish.
What point I need or motion I need to put, to say to being again in their speakers list?
Motion or point of personal privilege to be added to the speakers list.
Well, point of personal privilege.
Establish.
I want to be added to the speakers list.
You are an order delegate. Does any other delegation want to be added to the speakers list? Raise your hand. Delegate of Andres Sofia. Delegate of Vanessa. Thank you, delegates. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we remind you that the only motion in order is a motion of procedure to close the session. The delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Andrea Sofia.
Motion of procedure to close the session.
You are in order, delegate. Delegate who seconds the motion. Delegate of Jimena Parra seconds the motion. Votes in favor? Against? Abstentions? The motion clearly passes. We have finished the first session. I yield the word to your president.
Thank you. Well, delegates, I remind you and you can stay on the session if you want to.
I have a question.
Yes, delegate.
Okay, so in the previous MUNs that I've been in, we don't use like this um, like points that we're using in this MUN. So I don't I don't know which ones we are supposed to use to say like um, questions and stuff like that. So that's why I didn't I said point of information to make a question, but could you please like tell me what points we are using in here, please?
Yes, you would want to take notes. You know what? I'm going to write them on the chat because there are a lot of them, and you're probably going to get confused. So I'm gonna write them on the chat. Okay?
Okay, yes, thank you.
Delegate Vanessa, those are all the motions and points we use in this protocol.
Thank you.
Hi, delegates. We remind you that it's 9:06, so you need to be here again, please. I yield the word to your moderator. The chair established to your conference officer.
Thank you, President. We will proceed with the roll call. Pakistan, Pakistan,
Present and voting.
Bulgaria, Bulgaria, Jordan, Jordan, United States,
Present and voting.
Spain, Spain,
Present and voting.
Netherlands, Netherlands, Russia, Russia, Germany,
Present and voting.
UK,
Present and voting.
Madagascar, Madagascar, France,
Present and voting.
Argentina, Argentina, Brazil, Brazil, Canada, Canada, RDC, RDC, Iran,
Present and voting.
Iran, Colombia, Colombia, Sweden,
Present and voting.
Mexico, Mexico. President, we have quorum. I yield the word to your
Thank you. Well, delegates, first, I remind you and ask you, please, that breaks, it's like that, it's a break, so please, questions, leave them for the session, please. And now, being 9:10, I inaugurate the second session of this month. Thank you. I yield the word to your moderator.
Thank you, Delegate. The chair establishes. Thank you, President. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the speakers list. Delegate of Laura, you have the floor.
Well, I'm going to say my proposals again. So my delegation proposals are to carry out more operations focuses on a specific crime, to make more intelligent strategies and have help in other countries to find the fugitives, to organize a plan and use tools to capture the 7 most dangerous fugitives, have contact with international organizations or countries to be able to capture the fugitive faster, and to create and develop more projects and fugitive search mechanisms around the world.
Thank you, Delegate. What would you like to do with your time?
To give to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. The Delegate yielded 24 seconds of her time to the Chair. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Vanessa. You have the floor.
Okay, the delegation is going to repeat the proposals. To add more security in the frontier so we make sure that no fugitives escapes the country. To work with the Security Council in order to be able to have better security in the streets and in the prisons. And to spread messages to the citizens encouraging them to report any crime they see so there is not any unsolved crimes.
Thank you, Delegate. What would you like to do with your time?
I'll give it to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. The Delegate yielded 24 seconds of her time to the Chair. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Andrea Sofia. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. The delegation of the United States would like to be very clear with the first proposal that we are making due to the fact that that a good contribution that the United States would be its financial thing. The Interpol is only, well, its budget, it's only 122 million euros. And if we compare it to the budget of the UN, it's 2.7 billion. So the delegation of the United States would like to know if any other delegation would like to help Interpol with the financial thing, and thinks also that that we shouldn't be giving our proposals yet, due to the fact that not all of us know the posture of all the delegations. Thank you, Chair. I give my time to the Chair.
Thank you, Delegate. The Delegate yielded 2 seconds of her time to the Chair. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Jimena Perez.
My delegation wants to make a motion to open an extraordinary session of questions.
Delegate, do you mean a motion of procedure to establish an extraordinary session of 2 questions?
Yes.
Reestablish.
I want to make a motion, a point of procedure to make extraordinary session of questions.
Of how many questions?
One. No,
You're
sorry,
not
comment.
You are not an order delegate.
Oh, okay.
Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Jimena Perez. You have the floor. The chair reestablishes. Delegate of Andres Martinez, do you have anything to add?
Yes. Point of personal privilege.
Establish.
My delegation wants to add it to the speakers list.
You are an order delegate. Does any other delegate wants to be added to the speakers list? Delegative Jimena Parra, Delegative Vanessa. Thank you, delegates. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any pointer motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Jimena Perez.
Well, I'm going to repeat my proposals. Add more bodies of the Spanish Civil Guard or any other organization or criminal policies at borders, airports, bus stations, roads, among other places that are especially bodies dedicated to this type of operations to facilitate captures, operations like people trafficking, drugs trafficking, weapons trafficking, and etc. Inform the international population about the fugitives so that they can help us identify it because they can be sightings in banks, stores, restaurants, fast food places, um, and educate the kids to identify what is wrong, what is right, and to that help future generations to stop crime.
Thank you, delegate. What would you like to do with your time?
Keep it to the chair.
Do you mean yield it to the chair?
Yeah.
It's okay, delegate. The delegate yielded 0 seconds of her time to the chair. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any pointer motion on it? Yes, delegate of Pamela.
Point of personal privilege.
Establish.
And my delegation wants to be added to the speaker list.
You are an order delegate.
Thank you.
Does any other delegation want to be added to the speakers list? Please raise your hand. Delegate of Laura. Delegate of Jimena Perez. Thank you, delegates. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any pointer motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Andres. You have the floor.
Thank you, our chair. One, I want to send our proposals of my delegation things. It put drones at the borders of frontiers that are divided into sections to track possible suspects or fugitives at the borders. Give better rewards to citizens for reporting fugitive information. Plan strategies in any place of departure from to the country so that fugitives and suspects do not escape. Thanks. My time, give it to the chair.
Thank you, delegate. The delegate yielded 33 seconds of his time to the chair. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any pointer motion on it? Yes, delegate of Andrea Sofia.
Motion of personal privilege to
Establish.
know the order of the speakers list, please.
You are an order delegate. The order of the speakers list is Jimena Parra, Vanessa, Pamela, Laura, and Jimena Perez. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any pointer motion on it? Yes, delegate of Andres.
My delegations want to be added to the speakers list. Speakers list.
You are an order delegate. Uh, does any other delegate want to be added to the speakers list? Delegate of Andrea. Delegate of Andrea Sofia. Thank you, delegates. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any pointer motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Jimena Parra. You have the floor.
Thank you. As a former delegate, to be more specific, United States has established, we recommend not to make proposals yet due to the fact that not all problems have been addressed and not all problems have been commented. We cannot make proposals to problems that are non-existent in the table or in the floor at the moment. Germany would like to remind all the delegations that there are still fugitives and that with the COVID-19 pandemic, they're making new strategies to make more of their crimes. So one of the most favorite country to the fugitives, more specific to Indian fugitives, is the UK. This is just one to mention. There are more countries that are the favorites to fugitives due to the lack of security or due to the lack of attention at this matter. Germany would like to propose that these delegations look how many fugitives they have and start taking measures about this point in security, more interest, or to tell us what they need, so we can start making proposals about that. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. The delegate yielded 0 seconds of her time to the chair. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Since not, we will proceed with the delegation of Vanessa. You have the floor.
My delegation agrees with the delegation of United States and is willing to contribute with money to the Interpol. My delegation gives the time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. The delegate yielded 51 seconds of her time to the chair. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Jimena Parra.
Motion of procedure to open a moderate caucus with the duration of 10 minutes.
Of how many? I'm sorry?
10 minutes.
You are in order, Delegate. One moment, please. Delegate who seconds the motion? Delegate of Jimena Perez seconds the motion. Votes in favor to open a moderated caucus with a time duration of 10 minutes? Against? Abstentions? The motion clearly passes. We are now in a moderated caucus with a time duration of 10 minutes. Delegate of Jimena Parra, you have the first intervention.
Thank you. There's a really great concern in Germany about how the delegations are not extremely or 100% conscious about how bad this problem is, and would like to propose that they consider, not only given the proposals, we would like to listen to the problematics of your country, or what is your country doing to address this problem.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Jimena Perez.
Yes, my delegation thinks that will be uh, good that we all set proposals and start like discussing solutions, points, facts, or other things.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andrea Sofia.
The delegation of the United States thinks that the resolution or the proposal that Jimena Perez is giving, that we give the names to our citizens so they can also help us to find them. I don't think it's a good idea. Well, the delegation of the United States don't think it's a good idea, due to the fact that we're not facing a normal problem or even a different thing. I want to make some comments about it. We are dealing with corruption, with terrorism, with war crimes, with illicit goods, and etc. So I think that giving the names to our citizens is not a good proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. We remind you to please speak in third person. Yes, Delegate of Pamela.
Well, I know it's not time to make proposals, but my delegation thinks that the first thing we need to do is have money. We don't have, if the countries don't have money, if the Interpol doesn't have money, we can't do anything. So I was thinking if we can sell things, simple things. We can cookies, cakes, or things like that, so we can have money and to pay the officers to do better job. I don't know if my delegation explained.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate Andres.
Yes, my delegation thinks that some of the policies of the Interpol go down with the corruption, and that's why the some of the fugitives escape to the authority. So I think like the delegation of Pamela, we can do like more money to pay for the officers and have good more good jobs. Thanks.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Jimena Parra.
Germany would like to inform the delegation of, I don't know what country it is, of Pamela. What is the country of Pamela? Sure.
We don't know, Delegate of Pamela. What is your country?
Is Iran.
Thank you, Delegate. The Delegate of Pamela is Iran.
Germany would like to inform Iran that actually there's a budget in Interpol. This income comes from statutory contributions from memberships and voluntary funding for activities. Last year's total budget was 135 million euros. The most participated donors are the European Commission, Global Affairs Canada, and the U.S. Department of the State. It's good that you think we need that your delegation thinks we need money, but there is money. But maybe another solution, other rather than selling cupcakes or cookies, would be better due to that is bigger problematic than what we think. Please be more realistic to the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Jimena Perez.
My delegation concurs with it's agree with Germany's delegation in the point of financial the things, but the fact is that money we have because the government of the major part of the countries use taxes as to make things to benefit citizens to pay and like to make airports, roads, to have a better education, and that money one part because it's a lot of money and it depends on which country we are, but the taxes is already money that we can use, and if every country put a little bit of money we can have a lot of money to solve this.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andra Sofia.
The delegation of the United States would like to say that we are in favor of what Germany is saying. I just want to make clear that we are not talking about like some dollars or anything. We're talking about $1 million or $1 million. So selling cookies or selling cupcakes and all that stuff, it's not an option. We just wanted to address it. Also, we want to make clear that we are already donators. The delegation of the United States, it's already a donator, as the delegation of Germany have just told you. We donated a lot of money, but we are not looking for more money. We are looking for contributors. We are looking for someone who would like to be part of this. We're not looking for a way to have more money. We just want to make clear that we would like to have more delegations doing this thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andrea.
Yes, my delegation is agree with the delegation of Andrea Sofia that we are not looking for money, and as the delegation of Germany says, cookies and that is not an option because we have money.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Laura.
I agree with the delegation of Germany and United States because we already have the money, so we need to move and to make operations so they can capture the fugitives, not to sell cupcakes or cookies. Um,
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Jimena Perez.
My delegation is completely agree with the delegation of United States because if we need money, we already had money. But how United States delegation said, we need contributors or people or countries that are not involved on Interpol to get involved on Interpol, and to put like more criminal bodies or police in frontiers or borders, and to apologize these causes to make easily the capture of these fugitives.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Jimena Parra.
Another problem that has not been addressed is that an infra operation has not been announced since 2017. Interpol proposed a new project focused on the 7 wanted fugitives. All the members of this list have the same characteristics that are attacks against the environment or trafficking species on a global scale, uh, breeding, sport, hunting of dangerous species. So maybe we can start with that, with the most 7 fugitives, with the most wanted 7 fugitives, and start addressing the environmental issue this matters.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates, we remind you that the time of the moderated caucus has come to an end. The chair recommends an extension. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Jimena Perez.
My delegation makes a motion to extend the moderate caucus
With what time extension?
as much as the chair recommends.
The chair recommends that 9 minutes with 59 seconds would be okay. Do you wish to reestablish?
Yes, my delegation makes a motion to extend the moderate caucus.
You are an order delegate. Delegation, who seconds the motion? Delegate of Jimena. The chair reestablishes. Delegate of Andrea Sofia seconds the motion. Votes in favor? Against? Abstentions? The motion clearly passes. We are now in an extension of the moderated caucus with a time duration of 9 minutes with 59 seconds. Delegate of Jimena Perez, you have the first intervention.
Well, how I was saying, we could put more criminal bodies, and how Germany's delegation, if I'm not wrong, said the infra doesn't have had more operations since 2017, and in 2018 concludes that they were more, that in the period of time between 2009 and 2017, the results were that we captured 536 fugitives, and we localize or sorry, we locate other 30, 330 fugitives. And we could make another one this year that has different purposes.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Andisov.
Thank you, Chair. This delegation would like to also announce that we doesn't think that addressing the problem of the financial thing should be a major thing. So we also agree with the delegation of Germany to start talking about other things, such as the delegation of the United States would like to start talking about the terrorism and the persons, well, the criminals, where are they from, and to start addressing the problems and start looking for resolutions for that problem. If we look to the Interpol site, we can look that in the first page, we have the most criminal persons are from Russia. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Jimena Parra.
Supporting what the delegation of United States has said, Russia has the most wanted people and the most fugitives. So we would like to address this problem from, I mean, what can Russia do, or what is Russia doing to keep these fugitives, or what is Russia doing with other countries or with Interpol to address this problem. Also, getting back to what I just said, what my delegation just said, Interpol is now actively working with the Fugitive Search Support Unit in collaboration with the Environmental Security Program and with the Command Coordinating Center to take the measures against the actions and to support the info program that is requested of the environmental criminals. The matters we would like to we need to discuss, or the objectives, is the budget that will require, not how we are going to get it, that only the budget that it will require, and what sources of more intelligence we would take with the list of the countries involved, with the list of the seven seven most wanted persons, and with the international offices. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Laura.
Um, well, the Operation Infra brings together law enforcement officials from around the world to locate and arrest criminals fleeing international jurisdiction. So, in fact, one of my proposals was to organize a plan and use tools to capture the seven most dangerous fugitives. And I agree because the most the seven most fugitives are in Russia. So we need to do something on or organize with that delegation.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andrea Reyes.
Thank you. Yes, as the I think our delegation says, we need to focus more on, well, investigate more on what Russia is doing for prevent this attack from terrorism and that kind of yes, no, that terrorism and that.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andres.
Yes, thanks. The delegation of Laura and Andrea, I agree with that delegations, but we need help of the delegation of Russia, and we need to work together to capture that fugitives in that country and start an investigation but a real investigation. Thanks.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Pamela.
Well, I'm sorry, just a minute. Yeah, sorry. Um, my what? Yes. What was the name? Yeah, my delegation doesn't think that the fugitives are going to stay in Russia, as you're not saying, but yeah, I don't know if I explain. We can send police officers to the to the countries that the fugitives go more. I don't. Yeah, like not only in Russia, we need to how do you say expand or vision or something like that.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andrea Sofia.
The delegation of the United States thinks that the proposal of Pamela is not a good proposal due to the fact that we cannot make our country not safe by sending our policemen or our military equipment or anything to another country just to make it safe. The delegation of the United States thinks that every delegation should take care of its own country, but also needs to help. How can we help? Well, the United States, as some delegations might know, we have the one of the most we have the best military equipment, so we can give the capacitation for your military equipment and your policemen just to make your country a better place. But we cannot send our policemen to another place just to make it safe there. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Laura.
I agree with United States because also our delegations it need to be safe because there's a lot of fugitives around the world. So I think it's not a good idea, like United States say, that to send all our police officers to another countries because it's not going to be safe. And
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Jimena Parra.
My delegation would like to know what is the main idea, or to be more specific, with what the delegation of Andres Martinez said about making an investigation to Russia. Russia is not at the moment with us, but would like to know what is the purpose of this investigation, and agrees that the policemen cannot be sent to other countries just to save them. There is a problem from the base that needs to be resolved, not only with policemen but with other strategies, and um, would like to think what other delegations think about what Germany said about the environmental criminals, and if they would be um, in the matter to support them.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Jimena Perez, you have the last intervention.
Um, my delegation is completely agree with what delegation of United States and Germany had said, and I think we shouldn't investigate like Russia because we are talking about international fugitives. We can't be only in Russia or saying we're going to go with Russia and send our places. I think that's not the idea. We need to protect our countries, like every delegation being in the countries and said, I'm going to protect my delegation with my officers and think like personal, nor like we are going every delegation put of his part, because what if a fugitive comes, I don't know, to Germany, and we are all on Russia? That will be bad. Or it's like the fugitive is not going to stay on Russia. The fugitive is going to go to Spain, to United States. It's going to be in every part. So what we can do is improve our or every country's police to catch more easily or capture more easily the fugitives.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates, we remind you that the time of the moderated caucus has come to an end. The only motion in order would be a motion of procedure to close the session. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Andrea Sofia.
Motion of procedure to close the session.
You are in order, Delegate. Delegate who seconds the motion. Delegate of Jimena Parra seconds the motion. Votes in favor. Against? Abstentions? The motion clearly passes. We have finished the second session. I yielded the word to your president.
Thank you, moderator. Delegates will be here now at 9:55. Thank you. Hi delegates, good morning. It's 9:56, so we ask you please to come back to the session and please turn on your cameras. I yield the word to your moderator. The chair established to the conference officer.
Thank you, President. We will proceed with the roll call. Pakistan,
Present and voting.
Bulgaria, Bulgaria, um, United States,
Present and voting.
Spain,
President Bori, I'm sorry if I don't speak quickly because my microphone has light problems.
it's okay, delegate. Germany,
Present and voting.
Russia, Russia, UK,
Present and voting.
Madagascar, Madagascar, France,
Present and voting.
Argentina, Argentina, Brazil, Brazil, Canada, Canada, RTC, RTC, Iran,
Present and voting.
Colombia, Colombia, Sweden,
Present and voting.
and Mexico, Mexico. President, we have quorum. I yield the word to your president.
Thank you. Well, delegates, being now 9:59, I inaugurate the third session of this morning. Thank you. I yield the word to your moderator.
Thank you, President. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Jimena Perez.
Uh, my delegation makes a motion to open a moderate caucus
You are in order, Delegate. With what duration?
as much as the chair recommends.
The chair considers that 15 minutes would be okay. Do you wish to reestablish?
Yes, my delegation wants to make a motion to open a moderated caucus.
You are in order, Delegate. Delegate who seconds the motion? Delegate of Andra Sofia seconds the motion. One moment, please. Votes in favor? Votes in favor of the opening of a moderated caucus with a time duration of 15 minutes. Votes against? Abstentions? The motion clearly passes. We are now in a moderated caucus with a time duration of 15 minutes. Delegate of Jimena Perez, you have the first intervention.
My delegation thinks that we should start like making of what we want to the purpose of this. Sorry, wait.
Since the delegate of Jimena Perez has logged out, we will continue with the delegation of Andrea Sofia. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. The delegation of the United States of America thinks that it is important to address all the problems. First, that we come to an end or even give like some resolutions of these problems. thinks that we have first to put all the problems on the table and then start working with them and knowing if someone would like to make alliances with another delegations and stuff. We think that is not the moment to start going with the resolutions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate Andrea Sofia.
Also, the delegation of the United States want to point out that the reason we mentioned that most of the criminals are from Russia, it doesn't mean that we have to talk about Russia. Russia, this delegation is not here, so we cannot make changes for this delegation. But what we can do is start knowing which countries are the ones that are more problematic and start looking for some resolutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate Andrea Reyes.
Yes, my delegation agrees with the delegation of Andrea Sofia that we need to we don't need to focus a lot on Russia, and we need to focus what we're going to do with this topic.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate Andres Martinez.
Okay, thanks, Honorable Chair. I am agree with the delegation of Andrea and Sofia and Andrea Rodriguez. We need to focus with all the with this topic to this topic and that. Thanks.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate Andrea Sofia.
Thank you, Chair. Due to the fact that not any delegation is talking about the problems we are facing, the delegation of the United States would like to start pointing out every problem that we are facing. The first problem that the United States that we're facing is that not all the police officers are have the capacitation or even have the technologies. Your delegations doesn't have the technologies to be working with Interpol. So what the United States delegation would recommend is we would like to help you with some courses to capacitate your men and women to make a better military force, so we can start working with better things on the Interpol. Also, we would like to point out the fact that the money we are just inviting another delegations to start with a budget. Also, we want to point out the fact that that the United States is working with the FBI, CIA, and also we are working with the DEA. If any country doesn't know the meaning of this, the delegation of the United States will be pleased to give you the meaning of each one. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates, we remind you that you voted for this moderated caucus, therefore, please participate. Delegates, given your lack of participation, the chair considers that the time of the moderated caucus, the chair reestablishes. Yes, Delegate Andrea Sofia.
The delegation of the United States just wanted to make one more intervention, and that's it. We would like to make alliances with the delegations that agrees with the fact that we have to make our frontiers stronger, if you want to make it like that, if you want to call it like that. And yes, that's it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Jimena Perez.
Um, I have like a little bit troubles with my internet, and I don't know if I hear lag or something like that, of if you don't see me. But I am agree with the delegation of United States of being strongest the borders or frontiers, and that's it.
Thank you, Delegate. In answering your question, we can hear and see you perfectly. Yes, Delegate of Laura.
My delegation proposes that as the delegation of United States said that we can do practices to be able to train those officers who are not yet prepared for um, for the Interpol.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andres.
Yes, I am agree with the delegation of United States and Laura that we need to point personal privilege.
Establish.
How do I say entrenar in English?
How do you say what?
Entrenar.
Train.
train train the police officers with the purpose of the Interpol and with the delegation of United States that saying to reinforce the frontiers like we can do like if some fugitives escape of our country we can work together with the other country that is in the frontier with the other country so we can work together to fight with for example with to capture this fugitive.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Jimena Parra.
The delegation of Germany would like to establish that agrees with the delegation of United States in the matter of start making alliances to make programs to make our frontiers stronger, and also not only the frontiers, but among the countries, among the most visited principal countries or states in each country that are that are the most that are the ones that are not with more attention that they must.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Pamela.
Well, my delegation completely agree with the delegation of USA. I would like to, my delegation would like to help, and I think we need to, my delegation, I'm sorry, think we need to concentrate more in the not in Russia like the delegation of USA said, but in other countries like Mexico, Guatemala, or Afghanistan, and things like that.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andrea Reyes.
Yes, my delegation thinks that the delegation of Jimena Parra is, I'm agree with his delegation because we need to sorry, point of personal privilege.
Establish.
How do you say centrarnos?
How do you say what?
Centrarnos.
What in what context?
Centrarnos en un lugar específico.
We need to focus ourselves on.
Okay, thank you. Focus ourselves on the countries that don't have a lot of security. I think that we need to prepare more the the police the policies in that specific countries.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Vanessa.
My delegation also thinks that we have to have good capacitated officers to accomplish what we want to accomplish. So my delegation is also going to help in the training of the officers.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate Andrea Sofia.
Responding to what the delegation of Andres Martinez said, the delegation of the United States will capacitate your people, your citizens, without any cost. This is a thing that is very important for the United States to ensure our security at any costs. So we won't. We are not looking for any money. So that's why the budget of the Interpol would be okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Laura.
I agree with the delegation of Germany or the delegation of Pamela, I think, because my delegation thinks that we should not focus on a single country, but help each other so that our countries can be saved.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Jimena Perez.
My delegation wants to make a question to USA delegations. What do the capacitation will include, or what like topics you will board, if I'm not wrong, like point of personal privilege?
Establish.
How do you say abordar?
In what context?
Like, ¿qué temas van a abordar?
What topics they are going to take into consideration?
Or what topics are going to take in consideration, like what, especially what to do in a terrorism attack, what to do in situations, what kind of situations.
Thank you, Delegate. We remind you that the word terrorist is a non-recognizable word by the UN. Yes, Delegate of Pamela. The chair reestablishes. Sorry, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andrea Sofia.
The delegation of the United States first would like to respond to the question, or the comment that the delegation of Pamela said, that we have to focus on the countries that are poor, if we want to call it like that, or that need the support of other countries, such as the United States. We are looking forward to capacitate every person of each country, and also responding to the question of the delegation of Jimena Perez, we would like to say you that we have in the CAA, we have our student internship and cooperative education. There are programs that offer highly unique and rewarding students experiences as you keep our nation safe. So what do I mean by this? During the time that your students or the people would you like to capacitate are working on the CIA, that is like more intelligence part, not to work with a catastrophe or something like that. We think, well, the delegation of the United States think that it's more important to capacitate first your men and women with the technologies that we have and we can give you. So you're working for the United States, but also you're ensuring that my country is safe. And also, then when they finish their capacitation, they can come back to your country and help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate Andres Martinez.
Yes. I have a question for the delegation of Andrea Sofia. So, what if you are going to explain personal privilege?
Establish.
So, can Can I pick it out?
Can you what?
Pick it out, the personal point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. To the delegation of Andrea Sofia, to how you're going to put the persons that you are going to train in your country, where you are going to put that persons in your country, if you are going to if the presuppost of the Interpol is not going to use, what money is going to use it to that training.
Thank you, delegate. We remind you you cannot establish direct contact, this being calling other delegates you. We remind you that the time of the moderated caucus has come to an end. The chair considers that an extension would be okay. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Jimena Parra.
A motion of procedure to extend the time of the moderated caucus with the duration of 14 minutes and 59 seconds.
You are in order, Delegate. Delegate who seconds the motion? Delegate of Andrea Sofia seconds the motion. One moment, please. Votes in favor to open a moderated caucus with the time duration of 14 minutes and 59 seconds. Against? Abstentions? The motion clearly passes. We are now in a moderated caucus extension of 14 minutes and 59 seconds. Jimena Parra, you have the first intervention.
Thank you. Responding to what the delegation of Andres Martinez has just said, what the delegation of United States has proposed and has mentioned is the help in your country. Your people, the people of your country, the people you aim to be trained, will not be a charge to the other country. The country is offering their help and their knowledge to support your country. So it would be to be considered in your budget, in the budget of your country. And also would like to make an emphasis in the matter of the infraproposition of the Interpol of the environmental criminals, due to this is a connection that the first 7 fugitives and the most wanted have in common.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Andrea Sofia.
The delegation of the United States would like to make clear the point of the question of Andres Martinez. As the delegation of the United States have just told to the delegation of Jimena Perez, the reason we are not giving any cost to our to the capacitation for your men or women, it's because we have something that it benefits us. When we are working in the CIA, your men and women are taking care of our country during their capacitation. So that's why we don't think that it wouldn't have any cost, due to the fact that they are already paying us with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Pamela.
Well, my delegation wants the help of USA training, if I can say like that. My delegation can say like that. And another topic that we haven't talked is the sexual abuse of minor. How can we solve that? And we need ideas.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andrea Sofia.
The delegation of the United States would like to ask to the delegation of Pamela if she can set her point again, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Pamela.
Well, what my delegation said is that I will like your no your delegation support to with my police officers. And another thing we haven't talked is about the sexual abuse of minors. I my delegation think that that's one of the first things that we need to solve for in this case.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Jimena Parra.
The delegation of Germany would like to again make the emphasis on the environmental criminals that are is a shared characteristic among the most seven wanted people now in the Interpol. This being a great issue and being concerned that the other delegations are not taking account of it. Uh, because most of the endangered species are being used by these criminals to make their affairs and their issues, and would like to ask specifically to all the delegations what they think about this matter, and if would Germany would have the support to proceed with this infra operation proposed by Inter.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Jimena Perez.
My delegation is in part agree with the delegation uh, um, of Pamela and Jimena Parra to start thinking on other problems, but my delegation thinks that we don't like be more general in all the problems, because if we just focus on sexual abuse of minors and environmental um, problems, we can. I think we need to be more general, like not focusing in one thing. And we could start thinking like if we can make another infra operation like the past years, and that's it.
Thank you, Delegate. We remind you cannot speak in first person. Please speak in third person. Yes, Delegate of Andrea Sofia.
The delegation of the United States totally disagrees with that delegation of Jimena Perez due to the fact that these are topics that are very important for Interpol, and would recommend and would like to know like a little bit more about the things that the delegation of Pamela and the delegation of Jimena are talking about. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Jimena Parra.
Responding to what the delegation of Jimena Perez just said about organizing and proposing another infra operation, Germany several times has recommended to put attention into the infra proposition of Interpol, since that due to that since 2017 there has not been another infra operation in another matter. Infra operations are structured that each year they were focused on a different matter. For example, in 2017, there was the Infra ASAP operation. That it was the last one involving Asia and South Pacific. In 2017, there was the Infra Hydra operation, where 180 criminals wanted internationally for human trafficking worldwide and were targeted, and 44 Interpol Directorate for Organized Crime and New Crime Tenders and Global Protection and Support for Regions, in addition to United Intermission Administration Mission in Kosovo participated. This is what Germany is proposing, that we organize and pay attention to the most seven wanted people in the list. considering they are the most semi-wanted and they are the most dangerous, the most that have made the most damage.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Jimena Parra.
Delegation of Germany is again extremely concerned about how not even one delegation is concerned about this matter, considering this is a global and an environmental issue and matter. It's one of the biggest problems because it not only affects the government, the economics, and each living species in the world, including animals. There is no longer affecting humans. There is also animals involved.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Laura.
Responding with Germany about the towards environmental objectives, because there is also a problem that, and my delegation proposals is that we can apply the operation infra, or one of the main fugitive tracing tools is in Interpol is the red notice, and that is an alert to all countries requesting the location and provisional detention of an individual pending his extraction of fugitives.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andrea Sofia.
The delegation of the United States just want to make clear that the delegation of the United States was also concerned about the environmental thing. So that's why we invited the delegation of Germany to start talking about this problem. We are reading about this, and also we think that it's very important to start addressing this problem, and also the problem of the delegation of Pamela. Thank you. And we'll also invite Pamela, the delegation of Pamela, to start talking about the sexual thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Pamela.
Well, my delegation wants to know at least a proposal of the delegation of Germany for solve this about the environmental thing.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Jimena Parra.
Yes. My delegation would like to profoundly thank the delegation of United States for um, getting to this problem, and would also like to hear what the delegation of Pamela proposes to address the sex tourism, the trafficking issue. What are the proposals, or what are the how would you say it? The alliances would recommend that their country, or the help that its country needs.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andrea Sofia.
My delegation thinks that one way to solve the problem of the delegation of Jimena Parra, that is environmental thing, is by knowing where does this person or these people, these 7 people are selling or doing, what are they doing with the animals that they are like hunting and stuff, and then just find a way to solve this problem. We think that we have to know which are the animals that they are hunting, the reasons why they are hunting and stuff, and then we can get to a resolution of that thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Pamela.
Point of personal privilege.
Establish.
I accidentally clicked on log out, so I didn't hear about what Jimena's Paras delegation said. Can the delegation repeat?
Um, Delegate of Jimena Parra, would you like to repeat your proposals or whatever you said?
Yes, of course. Um, Germany has the alliance of United States with the interest of the environmental issue, and also would like to hear about more about the issue your delegation was presenting and what alliances or what your country needs or what do you think the program needs to be structured and formed and basically knowing more specifically about what you're talking about.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Andra Sofia.
The delegation of the United States would just like to recommend all the delegations to talk about these themes, and also to recommend that we start talking about resolutions, not just about the environmental thing and the sexual thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Pamela.
My delegation wants to propose to the delegation of Germany to first see where the animals that the people are hunting they are and put protection in that area.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates, we remind you that the time of the moderated caucus has come to an end. We remind you also that the only motion in order would be a motion of procedure to close the session. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any point or motion on it? Yes, Delegate of Andrea Sofia.
Motion of procedure to close the session.
You are in order, Delegate. Delegate who seconds the motion? Delegate of Andres Martinez seconds the motion. Votes in favor? Against? Abstention? The motion clearly passes. We have finished the third session. I yield the word to your president.
Thank you. Will delegates, the chair considers that you are deviating from the topic and remind you that the topic is follow up to initiatives that promote the capture of fugitives on an international scale. So we want to ask you to focus on the established problem, and also remind you that you need to come back at 10:45. So you may leave. Hola, oigan, bueno, esto va a ser en español, esto es súper extraoficial. Bueno, tuvimos un problema técnico y ninguna de las tres de la mesa somos host de la llamada y para poder hacer los grupos separados para un caucus simple necesitamos hacerlo, ¿no? Entonces, les queríamos pedir si, porfa, se podrían salir todos de la reunión y a las 10:48, o sea, en 2 minutos, entren todos para que así ya alguna de las tres sea host y ya podamos hacer eso. Porfa. Muchas gracias. ¿Alguna de las tres es host?
Yo no soy host,
Yo
pero
tampoco.
tengo muchas dudas. O sea, a ver, vamos, a ver, espera. Creo
No,
que-
a ver, también hay que salirnos nosotras entonces.
Hay que salirnos y ya regresamos.
Ajá.
Ok, ok, ok.